CP.
Are you serious? He's gone! 40, 30, Portis all the way! Touchdown Redskins, 64 yards!
26 minutes.
He's pretty sharp. You know, he'll coach you up on the Miami guys and everything else. He's kind of fun to be around. Got an opinion, too.
You know, I've been blessed to have the opportunity to go out and be myself and say the things that I say. And, you know, for the outside world, they can deal with it how they deal with it.
26 minutes with Colin Portis. CP. Teach him something.
Welcome to 26 Minutes, episode 27. Full cast in the house. Jake Crunch Rifles, Monica McNutt. Jake's coming back from the Grammys. You look all tan, new hairdo, new style. How was the Grammy party, Jake?
I don't know what you're talking about. Is this some running joke you guys have about me now?
Man, Monica just assumed you were at the Grammys. You weren't here last week for episode 26.
It's nice that you think I'm tan.
The biggest episode 26. The biggest episode we were going to have on the show, and you don't show up. You go to the Grammys party, so...
Actually, I was celebrating the nation of Qatar and their partnership with the Washington Redskins Charitable Foundation. Not exactly the Grammys, but also that was a Tuesday, not a Sunday, just so you know.
So do you get to go to Qatar?
I didn't.
Nothing? So we've given these folks all of this excitement about getting some inside scoop.
We're idiots.
And you were just...
I watched some of the Grammys. Casey Musgraves won. How'd you feel about that? Best album of the year.
Well, I didn't watch any of the Grammys.
I watched a little bit.
But to move on with our topics today, we're going to discuss Antonio Brown and his tenure in Pittsburgh. Sound like it's finally come to an end. After he met with the owner, he posted a tweet saying they mutually agreed that it was time to part ways. So I'm assuming this is it for AB and Steelers Nation. Now the question is, AB is an outstanding player. He's one of the best players in the NFL, top 3, top 5 players in the NFL. Will you, as an organization, like to have AB on your team?
Okay, wait. I wanted to read the caption, though, from his Instagram first. Had a great meeting with Mr. Rooney today. We discussed a lot of things, and we cleared the air on several issues! Exclamation point. We both agreed that it is time to move on, but I'll always have appreciation and gratitude toward the Rooney family and the Steelers organization. Call God, booming. Look at that.
Sounds like goodbye to me.
Yeah, it sounds like a pretty amicable split at this point.
I think it's helpful for him that he was able to put that out there and at least show face like, I'm going to make reconciliation, or I'm not going to end this tenure with the Steelers on bad terms. Like, I'm going to go out with a handshake, a hug, and a nice Instagram post and say, like, as much as there was consternation and frustration, and we're going to end this the right way and prove that I can still be an upstanding player on another team.
That is makeup, though, over a very rocky foundation.
It's true.
I think, sure, shout out to you, picture with the owner, nice statement. But this is after your weekend rant on Twitter, answering fans' questions. Not that he was wrong, but sharing his perspective without very many filters to fans. And then, of course, the Instagram video this morning, call me. Like, if your team wants somebody that's going to win and got guaranteed money, call me. Not that that's bad, but to me, it just seems like antics.
So when you look at, I don't think it's antics. When I delve deeper into this situation, right, you look at basketball in NBA. You take NBA, which is probably the best example of leadership in sports, where the players kind of control their own destiny. When it's time up, it's, hey, you know what, buy me out. I'm telling you to give me $20 million so I can leave. And the organizations do it. I think that's outstanding that you can go and get bought out because it doesn't work with the team, and then you can go elsewhere. So when I look at AB's situation, I'm hoping that players can control their destiny more, because the players have always been loyal to the organization. This always is shown. The organization isn't loyal to anyone. When you're done, you look at New England, you get Tom Brady. It's rare you get an Aaron Rodgers situation or Tom Brady. But if you think of Green Bay, they forced Brett Favre out because they had Aaron Rodgers. So as long as you're the poster child, as long as you're Brett Favre, to me, is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. But Aaron Rodgers, hey, it's his time. You have to leave. So when you look at rocky situations within organizations, you look at the Steelers, and I was just doing some research, and I thought about Hines Ward departure from the Steelers, Troy Polamalu, Casey Hampton, Joey Porter,
James Harrison.
James Harrison. a lot of their faces, a lot of guys who've been, when you mention their name, the first thing you think of is Steeler football, the blood, sweat, and tears, the toughness, the tenacity, the mindset that they play with was kind of forced out. They was just, oh, you know what? I'm done with you. Especially Troy Polamalu. You look at Troy Polamalu and what he did with the Steelers, along with Ryan Clark in that secondary. You look at those guys and you say they don't even have a relationship. Like, you don't see them pushing for Troy to be in the Hall of Fame. You don't see them pushing Troy as a great, a Steelers great, when you look at everything that he brought to this organization. So for me, to see Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell situation get really messy under Coach Tomlin, and then what stands out the most, and it went overlooked, was AB finally admitted to his issue with the Steelers, which wasn't Coach Tomlin. He hadn't said anything about Coach Tomlin. It's how Ben Roethlisberger is not held accountable for his actions. And everyone has a fear of saying anything to Ben Roethlisberger. No one can check him. He can talk to anybody however he want to talk to him. It's all on him, and he's not held accountable. He's not punished for his actions. But everyone else becomes the blame, i.e. Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown.
Is that commonplace, though? Like, there's so much of the league is driven by quarterbacks. We've seen rules change in accordance with that. Like, Ben Roethlisberger has had a solid career. I'm just wondering, like, is that commonplace, though? Like, are there guys probably in New England that take the same issue with Tom Brady? We saw the reports about a month ago in terms of Carson Wentz in Philly. So is part of that just commonplace?
Well, I think it's because of the organization's stature. All organizations build up their quarterback. Your quarterback isn't always the best player on your team. Your quarterback isn't always the leader of your team, but he's normally the face of your franchise. He's normally the highest paid player on your team. So therefore, with that comes the mentality, I'm bigger than everyone else. I run this. It's what I say goes. Like, this team go as I go. You look at Blake Bortles' situation in Jacksonville. They built Blake up. Now he's out. He's casted out. Players always felt like maybe he's not that good. Maybe he shouldn't be the guy. But you get hot. The defense was playing outstanding. You go to the AFC Championship game. Who gets rewarded? The quarterback, who should have been rewarded. All the players they let go on the defensive side of the ball that made their unit worse this year. You see what I'm saying? So the credit doesn't go to the people who the credit should go to when you're winning. It goes to the quarterback.
So, but that's what I'm saying. Like, so then does Antonio and whoever kind of have to factor that in? Because prior to this year, that seemed to be a working relationship between the two of them. They have been very successful and good for one another.
Well, I think they have been very successful together. Doesn't mean their relationship worked. But all of a sudden, you've seen with Le'Veon Bell's situation, Big Ben often had things to say about Le'Veon, which I think kind of carried over. You look at Martavius Bryant's situation when it was like he could be doing this, he should be doing this, he should be studying more, he shouldn't be, like, you can't continuously call out players with no accountability, because once you have a bad game, who's calling you out? And when a player come to check you, like, you don't have to listen to him.
I got you. So if you're someone in the market for a receiver, what type of organization fits Antonio Brown? Because even if what you're saying is true about Ben Roethlisberger, and I think that dynamic comes into play because you're talking about grown men that are all very talented, making lots of money, egos are real. But you've already acknowledged that this is a dynamic personality. And to your point last week, you said that this organization probably can't handle that personality. So where does he go?
Well, I definitely don't think this organization can handle that personality.
He needs a quarterback that can deal with that personality.
So what's dealing with it, though? Because Ben didn't deal with it?
Aaron Rodgers. Those are
they not going to have the same complex? That's what I'm asking you.
I think Drew Brees is probably the most relatable quarterback because he's been where Antonio Brown is. You see what I'm saying? He's had all the doubt. He's been outcasted out of San Diego to get to New Orleans to find a system. He's done it with no help. Although he has Michael Thomas, he has a great supporting cast now for those years that the Saints got rid of everybody to get to this point. You look at Aaron Rodgers, who's been craving, dying for a receiver. You look at some of those quarterbacks. You got to have a quarterback that's going to know, this is my team. Phillip Rivers, San Diego, the Chargers would be a great situation for him. He needs to go somewhere that they're going to throw the ball, that you're going to have an offense that if I'm open or if I'm if I'm tight in coverage, Give me a 50-50 ball. You need that type of quarterback. You can't go to a young quarterback system, a Mitch Trubisky, or a guy that you can intimidate and say, hey, you better throw me the ball. And this guy is coming out of the huddle like, let me find Antonio Brown, and throws the ball into triple coverage. You got to be able to go to a quarterback with a system that can say, all right, you know what? Here's an opportunity for me to make a play. Don't let him go to New England. You definitely don't want him in New England. So you got to go somewhere where a quarterback can come to the line of scrimmage and look over. So you know what? AB, here's that nod. I'm coming to you. You need a quarterback that's in control of his system, that's confident with switching plays at the line. So you look at those teams and you say those would be good fits. Even Seattle. I think Seattle with Russell Wilson would be outstanding for Antonio Brown. San Fran and all these places that's kind of wishy-washy at quarterback.
But
and
you're looking at this off talent. I'm saying personality and talent. So you need a coach that's more.
But all those quarterbacks,
all the quarterbacks that I named have. Green Bay has a new head coach,
right.
But Seattle, the coach is in charge.
Would
New
he work?
Orleans,
Would
the
he
coach
work
is in charge.
Okay, would he work in Seattle?
I think he will.
Okay.
Because the coach is in charge.
I got you.
And Russell Wilson, who is the face of that team, always make off-time and scramble plays. So imagine having Antonio Brown running 60 yards downfield and Russell Wilson is scrambling.
I got you.
What are you going to do? You can't come back and jump the route so he can stop on the dime and go deep.
I got you. Well, we certainly going to see. We gonna see.
Well, what else we would see a huge topic this week is the NFL decides to settle with Cap and Reed. Caught off guard, surprised that they settled. A lot of people chimed in on this situation due to Cap movement and how many people got behind Cap in this situation. And all of a sudden, it's kind of like you got the NFL right here in a battle that you're winning, and you say, you know what? I'll let up.
You feel like Cap let up?
I'm having this discussion with you all. I'll give you my opinion shortly on 26 minutes.
it's hard to know
teaser.
exactly what the payout was. It's hard to know what they were being offered and
Lots of money.
what that will. But how much I think is important. I think you've got to factor in the fact that he had 2 years of not playing and not getting a salary at all. Now he got some endorsement from Nike, but I mean, between him and Eric Reed, that was, I think, probably part of that discussion. And then you also have to look at maybe the NFL was looking at more legal fees, and they felt it was in their best interest to just like, hey, let's just give them a little bit extra maybe, and let's try to throw this at them and see if they go for it. I don't know. There's probably a couple angles too.
Do you honestly think the NFL was concerned about legal fees? You're talking about an NFL that punished the star player in Tom Brady and took him through the ringer for deflated football, which all quarterbacks did up to that point. So,
well, this has been a long process. I mean, I also think, I don't know, the NFL, they could also have just looked at Colin and maybe I don't know. It's very tricky because I don't want to get into guessing sides on this.
I mean, it's a talk show. You're voicing your opinion. It's not like you're, hey, Roger Goodell, this is what you need to do. You're not. I mean, this is your opinion. You're entitled to your opinion.
This is what I will say. For sure, this is nothing short of historic for two reasons. I think we see the power that one person's commitment to a cause can have. I think the league obviously wanted this to go away. And so here we are. I don't know that this will make it go away, though, which is kind of the thing for me to watch. I don't feel like it was a sellout move by Cap. I think when athletes first started rocking the T-shirts and using their platform, I remember lots of folks getting up in arms. I remember the St. Louis example in particular when the guys came out of the tunnel with their hands up. I think as regular people, we have to remember that they are humans as well, and this is their platform. If they choose to use it, that's cool. If they choose not to use it, that's also cool because you're asking people, essentially, as we saw with Kaepernick, to put their jobs and their livelihood on the line. So for me, for him to settle, I just respect what he's done so far. And so I don't think that there was a right or wrong when it came to this. It has been his cause. He has championed it proudly. Who am I to say that you settled? Like
I mean, it's very possible the
pull back.
NFL was not looking at this as in a, like, we could actually lose this, and so that's
right.
Well,
They
I
wanted to
think
go
they
away.
could have actually lost, and I think they made it go away because the moment that you get all of this owners' conversation and you really can expose them, and you got an opportunity to say, oh, yeah, this is something we don't want to get out to the media, or this owner said this, and we probably can cover, even for Cap, who I felt like you're making enough money. Nike paid you. Your tour around the world into all the communities, you're getting paid for these guests speaking. So Cap's not hurting for money. Reed had already signed with the Panthers and gotten paid as well. But it goes back to during the season, Reed called out Malcolm Jenkins
yep.
about, hey, you sell out.
Right.
But he settled. So for me, the issue
That's a
is
good point,
you've come this far in a fight that once you know they're tired, you know they're exhausted. You've seen the collusion, you've seen the emails, you've seen what the case is better than anyone. So is it okay? I'm cool. Just give me this money because you're getting the money anyway. You're gonna get paid
But
regardless.
I think, and so it's funny that you're saying this because I think ultimately we got to remember that his career was lost essentially behind all of this.
Yeah, but you lose your career because you decide to stand and fight.
Right.
Now, you had an opportunity. You had some opportunities, but it was, hey, I'm not sliding away from my movement. Remember, I think Cincinnati was trying to bring him in, and he stood firm. No, I'm not turning my back on my movement. So I could see if it was you had no opportunities at all. We don't know if someone would have signed. But for all the teams that overlooked him and everything else, when you're carrying in this fight, even having an opportunity for the AAF, you ask them for $20 million. Like, hey, I need $20 million to sign. Would the AAF pay you that much? Probably. He would have been huge for them.
I don't even know if they have that kind of money, though.
that's
That's
what-
a
I
lot
think they have that kind of money. You look at what they're paying the front
For one
office and the
player?
coaches. Look at what they're paying the front office and the
I do
coaches.
need to
They're
look
not
that up.
paying any other players. So all the big names that they have are making a lot of money. And that's just front office and coaches. For the players, it's kind of like a pool. Like, we're paying you this. But eventually, it's going to turn to a cap and evolve. So if you could get a Kaepernick or what's kid that's playing baseball? Tebow in for your league, everyone is tuned in to see how they play and how they perform.
All right. So having said all that, do you think Cap lands on an NFL roster?
Yeah, I think he'll be on the roster in no time.
What would
Because
that
it's
mean for the
obvious-
organization?
Well, it's obvious that it was collusion. Now that all of a sudden this case is settled and teams are interested. So why weren't you interested before this case was settled? So that's a whole nother topic. But
Does he
I
even
think-
want to play right now?
Yeah, that's the next thing. Does he even want to play? Maybe he does want to play. You get an opportunity.
Does the settlement necessarily mean it's over, though, too? Like, does that mean that he now will stand? We don't know the details of the
I
settlement.
mean, his opportunities, Carolina, New England, have been rumored to be interested in his services. So you're talking about New England Patriots, get Colin Kaepernick, everyone. You just had a situation where the Super Bowl was at a low in ratings, where a lot of teams see the Patriots go to the Super Bowl. It's kind of like, oh, there we go. But if they got Cap on their team and he go to the Super Bowl and Tom Brady win the Super Bowl, or Cap gets into the game in the Super Bowl, do you know how huge that would be?
I can only imagine.
In Boston?
Now that is
In
giving me a little
Boston?
bit of an asterisk.
Shh. Hey,
Anyway.
but before we get on with these topics, Jake, it's time to pay the bills.
It is time, and it's time to tell you a little bit about our friends at your local DC area Meineke Car Care Centers. It's a great place to get everything you need done to keep your car on the road. It is so important to maintain your car, and there are 19 Meineke Car Care locations in the greater Washington, D.C. area to help you do so. So is car repair on your shopping list? With services from oil change to brake repair, the experts at Meineke have you covered. Right now, get a basic oil change for only $19.95. Go in today or save time by booking online at Meineke.com. Meineke, on with life.
Were you getting in on the reads too?
I got you. You ready? Helping people improve their lives is what should drive business. That's the belief at Koch Industries, which employs more than 65,000 people across America. The team at Koch works together to meet the world's changing needs in transportation, medical care, water filtration, household goods, energy-efficient building products, and everyday technologies, all while consuming fewer resources. See the innovations firsthand at KochIndustries.com. Welcome back to 26 Minutes. This is a moment in the show that means so much. So Super Bowl, we got an opportunity to interview probably one of the better people coaches of all time. Myself and Cooley sat down with Coach Gibbs and kind of had a powwow, and it felt great. What really felt great about it was just to see Coach Gibbs' Coach Gibbs' energy and his smile coming off of a huge family loss and losing JD Gibbs, and Coach was right back at it. And I think it was great for him to be around us, and it was great for us to be around him. But this week, and it all folds. When you see good people, when you got good people, when someone has a good heart and their focus is in the right place, they go down to Daytona 500. You're inspired. Daytona 500 plays the J.D. Gibbs story, gives a outstanding tribute and salute to Gibbs Racing, and Danny Hamlin go out and win the Daytona 500.
And then they took the trophy to Steak and Shake.
Ricky Bobby.
It was pretty cool. I mean, that's pretty meaningful to have so much emotion going into that. And then there was that huge crash that
that's a mess.
15 cars got in or something crazy.
That crash was crazy.
And then they pull it out at the end, and I mean, I think Joe Gibbs said it was probably one of the greatest victories he's ever had in his life, his career. I mean, it's like a different thing, obviously, from being a head coach of a football team to being in charge of, a whole NASCAR crew. And really, there's probably a different kind of bond that you have with your crewmates and your team and your drivers than it is at football. And I can't imagine just what he was thinking as he sees the checkered flag and he's thinking of JD, and he's, there's just so many things going on with that.
We were having this discussion, and Coach leaned over and he said, this is prior to the race. This was at Super Bowl. He leaned over and he said, Hamlin reminds me of you so much. Mm-hmm. He said, he's just like you. You guys would love each other. You should come by the race shop so I can introduce you all. And I was just thinking, for someone to say, yeah, that's a great compliment, first off. But when you say you're like me, I like to think of myself as a stand-up individual. I'm strong-minded in my belief. I don't really detour a lot, and you can negotiate with me. I can compromise, but if I see something, I think it's full speed ahead. There's no half-ass. There's no in between. It's full speed ahead. So I'm thinking about this when I'm thinking about Hamlin, and all of a sudden to see him come out of all of this and to be victorious with everything that's going on at Gibbs Racing, not having JD as the head of Gibbs Racing because he's the one who was behind the scenes doing it all, that allowed Coach Gibbs to go out and do his ministries and all the work that he's doing within the community and everywhere else. To not have that part, to not have that critical part, for this to be the first 500 that he's missed, for you to have your grandkids and everybody pulling the biggest race since his passing, and all of a sudden you're victorious. Like that's God showing you how He works. That's God showing you why He favors someone like the Gibbs family. When you look at Corey, when you look at all of the Gibbs and how strong they are in their beliefs. And Coach Gibbs said, I used to think that I was doing it the right way, but JD made me believe. So when you see that, and that's just JD working, if you ask me.
Yeah. I mean, that's super special. A couple things. I think it's so cool that y'all can sit down years later and you and Cooley and you guys still have such a great rapport with him. I mean, that is a tremendous compliment that he paid you, but I think it matters to be a good person, right? Like, Coach was inspired by his son, and who knows how many lives his son was able to touch just by persevering through all that he had to deal with and still maintaining his light about him. So it never should be taken lightly when people walk into a room and bring joy to whatever it is that they're doing, because it's contagious.
So now you got to go talk to Denny now, right?
Yeah, I'm going to hang out. I'm actually going to take the kids because they got these go-karts at Gibbs Racing, like these super fast. So I'm going to take the entire crew, which we'll get more into.
You need to get your kids a YouTube channel, because they be doing lots of stuff with you. You're such a good dad.
No, it's a community. I can't take all the credit. They're in a great community. So they're in a great community. It's like a carpool of parents that all contribute. So I couldn't take the credit for what everyone else is doing. Like Miss Queen and that's going to be my best thing I saw this week. But it's a carpool. It's a community of people that make it happen. So I'm just fortunate to be a part of it, to have my child involved in it, because it's like, oh, where he at? Like it's not finished if the entire crew doesn't get the experience. And they do a good job at making sure everyone is no one left behind.
Right.
For the single parent or the 2-parent household, like everyone is on one accord. It's like it doesn't matter. We're gonna get your child to where he needs to be. So
that's super special.
Great. Yeah. Speaking of super special, the NBA, which we're starting to model, this show is probably a great. I mean, Monica, she'll be on TNT soon. She's gonna leave 26 minutes. She'll be doing games, broadcasting games. But since we're on good causes, speaking of Coach Gibbs, congratulations to Gibbs family, Gibbs Racing. But speaking of good people, President Obama and the NBA partnered with FIBA to put together Basketball Africa. Now, how Basketball Africa is going to play out, you've had some players from Africa in the NBA, Akeem Olajuwon, Manute Bol, notable guys. But to take this over means what for the NBA in Africa?
I think it's just another great opportunity to develop more players and get it more international. I mean, you're talking about an actual system, an actual opportunity for a lot of people to get out of poverty, even in countries that are really lacking economical resources. So, I mean, this could set up a lot and get a big fan base going and get more international draw and more intrigue out of a country or continent really that doesn't have a ton of resources right now.
All I know really is that it's going to be 12 teams, but I think it's dope. The NBA is light years ahead of every other pro league in terms of its appeal globally. Not even just in Europe, but globally, like China, all these places where Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, you think the fans in Green the Bay love them. When they go to China, it's on a whole nother level. So I think that this is...
I was going to say, because basketball and soccer, both most international sports, it really only takes a couple people and a ball. That's all you have really,
I mean, you think about the Greek Freak, what he's doing for Greece. So I think this is going to be fantastic. I am curious about this idea of, same thing with the AAF to a degree, this idea of feeder leagues, or will this be a different version of the G League? What kind of talent, where are these guys coming from?
Well, I think you're going to send guys over. Guys go to all other countries and play basketball. So I'm sure you're still going to have homegrown guys that go over that's kind of intertwined with these guys to help develop and get them there. Now guys, instead of having to go to all these other countries, now they have an opportunity to go to Africa as well.
Yeah.
If you're having 12 teams and now you just filter through. But it seems like, and we know the reports just came out that the NFL have been trying to pique Adam Silver's interest in coming over. But why would he leave when he have an opportunity and he's doing so much? It seems like every time the NBA is on a platform to roll out red carpet, or you think oh, you know what, the NBA is doing something so well, they roll out a bigger program. Because you look at the Super Bowl and all the negativity that came from Maroon 5 being the headliner at Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
And you get all this negativity and everyone is all Maroon 5. Why would they do that when you have such greats as Outkast and all of this in Atlanta that you could have had perform? The NBA, under the radar, Under the radar. All of a sudden, their All-Star game is in Charlotte, North Carolina.
That was so funny.
No headline, no news made. No one knows who the performance is. You bring out Meek Mill, who just started a reform, who just got released from jail, and you put him on this platform to open up NBA All-Star, right? It's great. Everyone is excited. Everyone is tuned in. The guys, this is what the guys listen to. Mm-hmm. This is what the guys listen to.
The fan base,
this is
not
what
just the guys.
The fan base, this is what the players listen to. So you're catering to your players, right? And then you're in North Carolina. Who's the biggest name in North Carolina when it comes to the industry? J. Cole.
Jermaine.
No one knows J. Cole is going to perform. Hey, you know what? Let's give you something extra. Here's J. Cole. No negativity. Our sponsors are not going to like this. We're going to lose money. No, this is what our players, the people who get us, the shield that's so big that makes us so much money, this is what they like. LeBron asks his coach at halftime, hey, can we go out and watch J. Cole perform?
That's why.
That's big.
Yeah. Brad Bill said he left his headband or he left it on, I think, because he was trying to get out to halftime to go see J. Cole, so he was on the team with LeBron, obviously. But this is why the NBA does it so well. I think, I do think that there is what's the word I want? Proximity that the fans get to share with the players that's a little bit different from the NFL. Even if it's down to one game a week versus multiple times a week, I can catch you, or down to wearing a helmet or not, right? Like, there's a proximity there that just allows fans to get a little bit more intense about it. But then just in terms of strategies, why would Adam Silver leave that position? You're right. Like, why?
Speaking of All-Star, a highlight from All-Star weekend, Team LeBron beat Team Giannis, but they scored, the over-under in this game was 315 points. Now, as sports betting is becoming a huge thing in pro sports, you look at 315 and you say, it's impossible to score 315 points. They score like 340. Are you kidding me?
What was it, 178 to 164 or something?
Yeah, it was something in the high 170s, yeah. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about this game.
I will say that I actually was rooting for Team Giannis just because everybody was dogging him in terms of his ability to pick his roster, and they gave it a good go. They started
in it. Out. They got you excited.
Strong.
They got you excited, and then they
but let's just talk about the dunk contest, because while Diallo from the OKC,
don't act like you don't know where he's from.
Is it Hamidou Diallo? Fantastic, right? The moment of the dunk contest for me was the failed flight launch to honor the Wright brothers when dude clipped that plane.
That was bad. He clipped it on both sides too, going up and down. But
that's so weird.
I was also confused because it was like it seemed like he brought out the Tuskegee Airmen.
So much was going on
from Alabama, but then he's in Charlotte and he's supposed to be representing the Wright brothers, and then he couldn't get his goggles to work, or he couldn't see through the goggles, so he took them off.
I don't know that kid's name, but I am still clearly laughing about that dunk. But shout out to him for trying it. It was daring.
Well, here's something you can't laugh about. We've been following this Harper Machado sweepstakes, and the first to land on the team, Machado lands to the Padres. I know you're excited about that.
Finally. It's been like 4 months, it seems like. It's just,
you're just excited he landed, or that's just team somehow?
I hope I hope the dominoes start to fall. You know me. I'm from Philly. I'm hoping Harper might go to the Phillies, but I don't know what this is going to be. It's 10 years, $300 million is the highest paid American contract now, and I
thought Stanton was making more than that.
No, this is the new number. Yeah, they said whatever.
10 years, $300 million, and so I'm a little surprised by the 10 years because
he's not.
That's why MLB teams have been waiting so long to not really give any contracts out. They don't want to get stuck with these back half of these deals and just have to pay millions and millions of dollars these guys that are aging or who aren't really performing anymore. So they get the 10 years, but I think the Padres will probably be looking at year 5. They're going to probably trade him up. I don't know.
So what does that mean Bryce is going to get? Because he's still out there.
Probably 350, 400. He's definitely going to get 350, 400. But we'll look into it when we come back for segment 3. Now it's time for Jake to pay the bill.
No, wrong.
Monica's turn.
My turn. Extreme.
Now it's time for Monica to pay the bills.
Extreme opportunity to win millions of dollars ahead. The Extreme Millions Scratcher could get you $10 million without you having to do anything extreme at all. The game has a $10 million top prize, a $1 million second prize, and over $256 million in total prizes in the entire game. All you have to do is head to your local lottery retailer. This game will make even the dullest winter day sparkle. You have 30 chances to win per ticket, and there are multipliers in the game too. If you have a non-winning ticket, you can enter it into this final second chance drawing in April for a $1 million prize. Shouldn't you check out Extreme Millions? That is an extremely easy question to answer.
Good job, Mom.
That was a little over the top.
I
for
win
me.
the reading prize today.
I'm sure Virginia Lottery will like that, but I think it's a little over the top.
John Riggins here with a little tip. If you need a mortgage, take my advice and use the pros at McLean Mortgage. Buying a home can be stressful and filled with hassles. The experts at McLean Mortgage understand what an important financial investment your home is and will seamlessly guide you through the process to successful home ownership. Smooth, amazing, easy, professional, and first rate are just some of the reviews from their tens of thousands of homeowners, including me. I trust McLean Mortgage, and I hope you will too. Check them out at McLeanMortgage.com.
This is Rick Goslin with the Talk of Fame Network. This NFL season, FanDuel has more ways to win than ever before. New Beat the Score contests pay out everyone who hits a certain score. Now it's easy to find your friends and challenge them to play head-to-head fantasy contests for cash or bragging rights. New players, try FanDuel today and get a $20 bonus when you make your first deposit. Just sign up at FanDuel.com/Rick.
New users only. Bonus not available for withdrawal. State and age restrictions apply. For eligibility rules, terms, and conditions, go to FanDuel.com.
Are uninvited pests ruining your plans? Let PMSI, the pest control partner of the Washington Redskins, handle it for you. Call today for your free inspection, and they'll work around your schedule to provide you the best solution possible to defend your home territory against pests of all kinds, including mold. Visit mypmsi.com for the game plan to control the pests on your home turf. That's mypmsi.com. Hail to the Redskins this year with gear from the official Redskins team store. From Nike player and personalized jerseys to a great selection of new era hats, the Redskins team store has you covered. Plus, we have an amazing variety of youth and ladies apparel and everything you need to throw the perfect tailgate party. And we have signs, flags, and collectibles for the perfect Redskins man cave. So hail to the Redskins in style at any of our 4 Redskins team stores or online anytime at RedskinsTeamStore.com.
Welcome back to 26 Minutes.
3.
3, 2, 1. Welcome back to 26 Minutes. I'm Colin Portis. We're in segment 3. In segment 3, we have an issue going on, right? It's Black History Month. Everyone is excited about sharing Black history. And at the beginning of the month, we start the month off on to racism. I mean, that's just what it was. Supposedly, Jussie Smollett in Chicago had an incident happen that is really taking over the news, and I felt like this platform would be good to, there's no racism in here. Everyone gets along fine, and just to hear everyone's perspective. But to start off with mine, when this situation first came out, and everyone jumps to social media and, just prayers for Jussie, and this is outrageous. It was something wrong with this from the beginning. And I'm glad I don't get into movements. I like to find out facts. Like, let me know what happened. Don't just, when I find out what happened, and then I can form my own opinion, not going by, prayers for Jussie. Everybody pays the day after. Prayers for Jussie, prayers for Jussie. Jussie, we're pulling for you. Big brother, we love you. All of this. And then all of a sudden, you go and the police come out and say, well, he didn't bring in the phone. It's been adjusted. Something is wrong with this story. And then we're looking for these guys that we've never seen. But hey, it's 2 big black guys walking that we're going to bring into question, and you find out that this has been staged the entire time, right?
Well, we don't have officially know that.
Well, the guys the guys came out and said they practiced this 2 days prior. So we do know it just haven't been any punishment. It hasn't been any repercussions to lying. But for everyone who was so, oh, yes, and I'm Team Jussie, now that you find out you've been lied to, right? Where do you go now?
There's so much
It's just
to
hard.
digest in this.
You just feel bad for all the minorities that are actually affected by this, that are going to have their stories not believed now, or are not going to be taken seriously, or that the right is going to think that the left was just putting this on as a big way to get back at them. It's just all these like ripple effects of just people trying to use platforms and ways to put out
why is our society so set on platforms or gaining, like, you're doing well. You have a show on TV. People are pulling for you. At this moment in time, I think your community is highlighted in fix, or not fix. It's highlighted and allowed every opportunity. So for you, who's been very vocal within his community and his movement, to have so many people support him at this moment, like you didn't need any attention.
Yeah.
Right? So why now? It's Black History Month. Why would you do something to overshadow that movement?
This is like mind-blowing. It's super weird. I didn't necessarily pay much attention in the beginning. I mean, I saw it, but to your point, like, you know, you wish someone well, you hope that no one is ever attacked based on who they are. Obviously, we all just want the truth to come out, and I don't...
What's the truth? Do you
That's
even
what I'm
care
saying.
about
Like,
the truth
what?
coming out? Now that you know it was staged, do you even really
so
care
you're going
about...
with the stage as the truth.
Well, the guys, it's the reason they let these guys go.
Right.
If the same two guys that you saw on TV, you found bleach at their house, you find everything that you don't need the actual facts. You don't need Jussie to come out and say, okay, I did this to know that that's what happened.
Well, you need to know why he did it.
Yeah,
you wanna
why?
know why? Like, there's a lot of still questions about this.
Doesn't matter why he did it, because now you're not going to listen to him at all, because he said this happened when he's the one that staged it.
Yeah, but you're sounding like everybody else now, because you're saying, "Well, I don't jump to conclusions," and then you're saying you're jumping to a little conclusion right now.
Yeah, you've already gone with the stage.
But I haven't jumped to conclusions. I'm saying you had an opportunity to tell me the truth in the beginning, and you lied to me. Now, I don't care what your truth is. Like, I really don't want to hear it. It doesn't matter to me. It's overshadowed in my eyes. Yeah. Like, it doesn't matter what you were trying to get across, because you said you didn't stage this, that this is what happened to you for no reason.
There's absolutely a cloud over the entire thing. But at the end of the day, we all can agree nothing like this should be staged or played around with. Like, people's lives are at stake because people don't allow others to be who they are and give them their room to do that. So in most cases, for a victim, I would never blame a victim, right? And you always want justice to be served and the truth to come out. This, however, is going to stain his career whichever way it goes. Probably.
Do you think victims that falsify reports, once they come out that they falsify, should be punished? I think more people should be held accountable for false reports than just like, oh, okay, well, you just lied and it's over and done with. And that's in every aspect and field. If you're lying to authority, or you're misleading, or you're misusing taxpayers' dollars, like, why not? You should be held accountable for that.
I agree with you on
and
that.
You shouldn't just be allowed to go yell out something outrageous and someone has to deal with consequences, and all of a sudden it's like, no, I recant my story, or I was just lying.
No, I agree with you on that. And it's unfortunate that we've gotten to a place in society where people know how to manipulate the system in that way. I mean, I've had experiences when I used to work in a school, like the kids knew what to say to cause drama for teachers. And that's unfortunate, but you're right. Sometimes people don't have the best motives or the best intentions. Usually you want to go with the victim, but if the truth is revealed, I agree with you, there should be consequences.
Well, speaking of revealing the truth, 26 minutes, we try to do exactly that. We try to give you the truth, our truth, honest opinions. Hopefully you enjoy episode 27 as I did for Jake, Monica. That's it for 26 minutes. Catch us next week, and we will give you the best thing we saw. The last 2 weeks we haven't, because we've had such great topics to discuss. But next week we're going to start out with best thing we saw.